She had mastered the art of appearing as though she belonged, had mastered a great many things. Walking into the ladies' salon, which after tonight would be off limits to gentlemen, Rose knew she wouldn't make a habit of frequenting this room, but it might provide the occasional opportunity to cement the right relationships. "Hello." Turning, Rose faced a small woman with mahogany hair and eyes as dark as Satan's soul and full of suspicion. Another kindred spirit, perhaps. "Good evening," Rose said with authority, as though the room were hers to command. Control, imperative to winning the game, had to be kept at all times at any cost. "I don't believe we've been properly introduced. I'm Mrs. Rosalind Sharpe." "Miss Minerva Dodger." Shoving down her surprise, Rose merely arched a brow. "You are rare, my dear, an unmarried woman of means. Why would you draw such conclusions? It was my understanding that only the nobility and those of wealth were invited to this exclusive affair, and you do not appear to be nobility. That leaves wealth." The woman smiled slightly. "Yes, invitations were rather limited, but it is my father who has the means, not to mention that he was the previous owner of the establishment when it was Dodger's drawing room." Ah, yes, Rose should have recognized the name. She'd castigate herself later for failing to do so. A careless slip could cost her dearly, put a crimp in her plans. "I suspect he's a rather interesting chap. I look forward to meeting him." Miss Dodger glanced around casually, although there was an alertness to her that Rose didn't much favour. "Is your husband about?" the younger woman asked. "I'm a widow." Miss Dodger swung her gaze back around, sorrow evident within the depths of her dark eyes as she settled them once more on Rose. "I'm terribly sorry." "A tiger attack while we were touring through the jungles of India. But he went as he lived, adventurously. I draw comfort from that. He would have hated dying of old age, infirmed, in bed. I suppose there is something to be said for going as one wishes rather than one is forced. Are you new to London, then? I don't mean to pry, but I'm not familiar with your family." "No need to apologize, my dear. I've been here only a fortnight. It's my first foray into town." "That's unusual." "Before India, I lived in the north, a small town hardly worth mentioning, as few have heard of it." Nowhere that she'd lived was really worth mentioning, especially as it was risky to provide breadcrumbs for anyone who might take an interest in retracing her journey. "I believe my solicitor was instrumental in garnering me an invitation to tonight's affair." She was sure of it, in fact. Daniel Beckwith had been bending over backward to accommodate her since she'd walked into his office. Widows who were to inherit all their husbands' holdings were rare and greatly appreciated. Based upon what she had told him of the estate, he was well aware that he stood to make a tidy sum by assisting her. He wanted to keep her more than content. I am eternally in his debt. "Would you like me to show you about?" "I couldn't possibly impose to such an extent. Besides, I have a bit of the adventurous in me and prefer exploring on my own." "Well then, I'll let you get to it. I do hope you enjoy your evening." "Oh, I shall most certainly strive to do exactly that." Miss Dodger took her leave then, and Rose made a mental note to ask Beckwith about the girl's father. It was quite possible that she might want to form a friendship with Miss Dodger, even if she wasn't nobility. Unlike most people, Rose was more interested in coin than rank. As the new owner had opened the establishment to those who were not peers, it seemed he too